How should I make contact with my DNA match on Ancestry?
Short answer, very carefully. And I'll tell you why in this video. We're going to discuss three mistakes people make when contacting their DNA relatives. The first mistake is you're miscalculating what your relationship is with your match. And the reason this can be hazardous is you're wanting to rush into contact when you don't even know who that person is. You're coming in as a complete stranger to that person. And for you to just rush in and assume what your relationship is, when it may not make sense to that other person, can be a mistake. It can be easy to think that you know the relationship, but you want to make sure that you have all of your facts first. For example, sometimes people put their DNA results into DNA Painter or something like that, into what are the odds, and see that all of their matches line up as like, oh, this is great. I've got like all these cousins. I've got all these first and second cousins, or first cousin once removed. Um, and so you might go around fishing for information. But if you're from a culture with endogamy involved, where you're perhaps related to a lot of matches, a lot of matches to a small degree, then you could be contacting somebody that looks closer as a relative than they honestly are. And so you're just going to create confusion for yourself, confusion for that relative, and still not get the answers you need and maybe leave frustrated at the end of the day. Mistake number two is that people don't think through the impact that their contact could have on the match that they're contacting. Before you go rushing in, they may not be prepared for what may feel like on their end, like an attack or something that they have to feel defensive about. You definitely want to do your homework and make sure that you're framing it in a way that they are receptive to it instead of defensive, feeling like they want to shut you down. I've heard of people contacting their matches, and let's say they have a sibling and they just rush in to make contact, and the sibling had no idea that their parent had had this other child. That can be a really inflammatory situation. And you don't want to just make contact in a way that is going to, cause that person to shut you down. The third mistake people make when they go in to contact their matches is that they expect instant results. It's really easy to assume that everybody's going to have the same level of excitement that we do. But some people take longer to simmer, they want to sit on the information, they want to process it, they want to think things through. It could be a waiting game. And I think it's a big mistake to assume that just because you don't get immediate contact, that there's no hope for the future. That person may come back around. That's another reason why it links back to the first one. You really want to do your homework and know who you're contacting and why, so that they have time to sit on that information. Because if it left them caught off guard, then it's understandable. It might take them some time to come around. The biggest comfort I can offer you on that is to log in and continue to look at your DNA matches, because over time, despite whatever happens, those results aren't going to change. These people are always going to be related to you. And so, that being the case, there's always hope that at some point, the ones that aren't willing to make contact or respond to your contact outreach attempts will eventually come around. So, if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What has your experience been with contacting matches? Have you contacted a match in the past? Maybe you contacted a match and you regretted it, and you looked back and you said, I wish I'd handled that different. Let me know what your experience is. And if you're having difficulty with any of these steps before contacting your matches, maybe you're not there yet, and this video has given you some things to think about, feel free to reach out. I'd love to talk to you further, because it is a situation where you want to do your homework and make sure that you know exactly who you're contacting to the degree that you're able to narrow it down, and why you're contacting them, and what the best approach is given that situation to make contacts. And all three of those can be difficult to navigate. Check the link in the description for more.